Coming up today on Locked On Texas Tech, a preseason top 10 ranking and an even better JT Toppin in 2025. Say less.
You are Locked On Texas Tech, your daily podcast on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Great to be with you again on Locked On Texas Tech on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, always free and available on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts. And thanks as always for making us your first listen. Today's bonus episode brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use our code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. With the only Chris Level, I'm Casey Cowan, back on the fly because, Chris, I didn't feel like we could just shelve this somewhere within a full-fledged football episode or conversation. This deserved its own time because it is not all the time or hardly any time that I can recall that we've got a chance in October to pause to discuss a preseason top 10 basketball ranking. But that's where the Red Raiders are checking in. You may have seen it by now, an AP top 25 preseason variety has Grant McCasland and Texas Tech at number 10 in the land. So thanks for a little bit of extra time, Chris, to soak this in and chop it up. I do actually want to get to a thought from Coach McCasland regarding the crown jewel of the roster and the defending Big 12 Conference Player of the Year in JT Toppin that stood out to us both, I know, not too long ago, just to help further set the table for this year. But as far as the table at large, it's a top 10 looking table, according to the Associated Press, man. Feels good.
Yeah, and this was expected, I think, to a certain extent. I will say I do have a bone to pick. Can I pick at this thing already? I mean, I feel like the AP people, whoever you are out there in the ether, football, basketball, whatever, you just keep fumbling the ball all over the place. But BYU should not be ranked ahead of you, and I love the folks in Provo, but I even think that they would probably agree with that. They're getting a lot of because they're sitting there at number 8. I thought maybe you would be right around there, and this will get sorted out. I'm just this is the first thing I noticed. They'll be really good. They've got Richie Saunders, but they're getting maybe too much credit for AJ DeMonsa, which is not even now thought to be necessarily the best freshman in the country, much less in the Big 12, because that may be on Bill Self's roster and the point guard that they got. So they have Richie Saunders. You have JT Toppin. I mean, I don't know. You went to the Elite 8 and were a minute and a half away from, maybe making it the Final Four, and they just don't play any defense. So I that was just the first thing that stuck out. But as you see, your non-conference schedule is just loaded. Houston, the possibility of playing Purdue. We've told you this. They are that's like 1 and 1A, and depending on how you look, you may not end up playing Purdue, but the way it sets up, if you win both of your first games in the Bahamas on a Thursday night, Friday night, you could be playing the number 1 team in the country. And Houston is not far off from that at all. The Illinois, the Arkansas, I mean, it's just but it just speaks to what Grant is built, what they've put together, that you get a lot of, and this, you're getting a lot of credit here for JT Toppin, and you should. This is going to be a first-team All-American. I think some publications will have him as the preseason player of the year. And, that'll come with some expectation, and it'll be tricky to kind of maneuver your way through a lot of that. But I still think there's too many. I don't know who you are out there. I don't know, but there's too many out there, because I know there's some smart hoops heads out there that cover this thing all the time, and I've heard a lot of what they've had to say, and they're in tune with it. That's why I think that some feel like this is a second weekend tournament team easily, and the expectation could be they could make it to the third weekend, and it's not going to shock us a bit. There's just too many people out there that are sleeping on Christian Anderson. And shame on you, because we've been trying to tell you, but this may be his last year here. He may be a first-round draft pick this next year, but we are trying to tell you right now, If you don't want to listen, that's fine. And if you want to drop Texas Tech just because you're not real sure, that's on you, man. But yeah, I think if you're in tune with this deal, you maybe should be a bit better than number 10. I bet you didn't expect me to say that.
Interesting. No, especially not in your Provo blue. But
it's unintentional. Unintentional. I was going to a Texas Tech press conference. I'm trying to be like neutral and all the things, trying to be professional. And so, yeah, it's just what I've.
That's what you get for trying to be professional. Your
color that I had
threw it back in your face and used it against you.
Right.
No, I didn't necessarily anticipate that, but I'm picking up what you're putting down. I think your arguments are making sense. And of course, it's a preseason top 25 poll, so we're not going to lose too much sleep over anything. But it's just amazing to think about prior to anything happening, you being thought of in these terms. Like you said, there was some expectation that you're going to be in rare air.
And I want
in the year.
I want to make another comment too about the poll. Okay, so here's where I'll tip my cap to you, the AP poll people. You're the only program in the country that's currently in the top 10 of the AP poll in football and in basketball.
Is that right?
You said rare air, and I'm offering it up to you right now because that is rare air.
That's our own air.
Yes, it is.
I think I saw top 25.
It's smoky air if you were at the Jones on Saturday, but hey, man, I'll inhale it all the same.
Don't worry about that. That's for our. All right, that's prescribed by a doctor. Yeah, I think as far as the top 25, it was a list of 4, and we've already mentioned one. It's Texas Tech, BYU, Tennessee, Alabama that I think are top 25. Top 10, they're occupied by. Yeah, you got it, the double T. It stands for top 10. There's no question about it. Chris, before we get out of here, I actually wanted to include in our conversation really quickly a thought from Coach McCaslin, because I knew we'd be talking about JT Toppin. And you and I have talked about this comment he made about Toppin. It's been a couple of weeks ago now, and we listened to a few of his comments from this conversation with the media. I don't think we touched on it, but it stuck with us because it's about painting a picture of an even better, or I think even as actually Coach McCaslin describes it, a more polished or well-rounded JT Toppin, who was the Big 12 Player of the Year last year, right?
Yes, he was. And bigger version of JT Toppin.
Yeah, literally, figuratively, in all ways. You said on the mailbag episode last week, for those who didn't catch it, he could be in a preseason Player of the Year category, which kind of stunned me, even with as highly as I think of him. But what Coach McCaslin is describing here sounds like a guy that could be in a Player of the Year category. Take a listen.
Well, I think the first thing JT needs to do in order to improve is to get better defensively, where he's guarding multiple actions and he's not just guarding maybe someone with some size. And because we do have good size on this team with Luke and Mariel and Latrell, I mean, we can slide him all over the place. And defensively, just his awareness to make, and I'll tell you what, he's I don't know, maybe 12 pounds heavier and stronger. You'll see him. He's way more comfortable. We had an NBA scout in today, and he was like, man, has JT's ball handling improved? And he has. He's worked on it all summer. His first step, his decision-making. He always has been a great passer. That's the part that I've said multiple times is the most underrated part of his game. He's such a willing passer. I mean, the first time somebody's open, he passes the ball. So he's not selfish at all. He's actually very unselfish as a player. But where I think he's made the biggest jump in watching him, he's just more comfortable handling the ball and not feeling like he just, every time he catches on the perimeter, he has to prove he can shoot a three. I mean, that's kind of where guys that are used to playing around the basket, every time they catch it on the perimeter, they just think, if I can shoot a three and show everybody I can do this. And no, he's a really good basketball player. And he can beat you off the bounce from the perimeter, and I think where he's improved is just his decision-making all over the floor, and I'm really excited for him to compete because I think he's just as versatile as anybody in the country, and with the guys that we have around him that can shoot, he knows he doesn't have to go down there and take over a game by himself. He can let the game come to him. but two areas. One, his activity defensively has gotten better. His ball handling has gotten better. And then I think his body has improved in such a way that he can deliver blows on offense and defense without giving up ground, which at times last year I thought physically wasn't what he needed to be. This year I feel like he's moving in the right direction, and I think everybody will see a more polished player from a playmaking and decision-making standpoint from all over the floor, not just in the post.
I am ready to be gassed up. Let's go.
Well, okay, so like hearing me suggest that preseason player of the year by some publication or plural or whatever, if you were taken aback by me saying that, did Grant talk you into it?
Yes, I think so. I can see maybe where you're getting some of these ideas.
Well, I mean, he was – whenever you're Big 12 player of the year, we know what this league is, man. We know what NBA players come out of this thing. We know the coaches that are involved here and the environments and the level of hoops being played in this deal. And he was kind of a no-brainer Big 12 player of the year, okay? That's what you're dealing with because he's a bucket. The rebounds, he just collects a loose basketball. I mean, this is just, and the craziest part is when we think back, you miss a month of the preseason last year. You have a decent game against UCF, which your team loses. Then you're kind of a non-factor in the 2-game trip to Utah, and then look out. Because at the time, everybody's doubting, going, what's going on? Who are we? Who is this kid? Where is this thing going? And then it just when the calendar turned 2025, it took him a week or so, but then it was off the races. But what you hear Grant explaining.
First, today's episode brought to you by Mazda's moving the game forward. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, move culture, and keep moving the game forward. This week's moment that moved us came on the first play from scrimmage as Cam Dickey said, "See ya," right up the gut. 71 yards to the house for the first 71 of his 263 rushing yards on the night in a drubbing of Kansas. And when you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved.
There's a lot of times whenever he does see somebody that's longer or bigger, it's more of a traditional big, they just would back him down. And he couldn't hold his ground. That's why you hear in Grant say, maybe he reaches or he has to get more aggressive, and so he gets a ticky-tack call against him. This is what teams would try to do: get him out of the game, and not when he's passing the ball and he accidentally kicks somebody in the nether regions right there. That was a bogus call. I'm talking about trying to guard and those different kinds of things. But this is because if you got the third foul on him or the fourth foul on him, and it's like Grant's got a decision to make, the dynamic changes a bit on how you can guard and play Texas Tech. But when he's out there, because if you just think about Christian and JT playing the pick and roll in the middle of the floor, and then you've got 40% three-point shooters just fanned out on the perimeter, like, what do you do? I mean, how do you play that? Because
take the L.
I mean, because you're gonna get an open shot, okay? Odds are, or you're gonna get a layup, or Christian's gonna make the right play, JT's gonna make the right play, or he's gonna score. The key will be, can those shooters like Darian Williams and Chance McMillan and Christian Anderson, who was in a different role last year, they were able to knock the majority of those down. Can this new collection, can Atwell, can Brian, can Jalen Petty, who, if you want to sound smart with your buddies, start telling them how good Jalen Petty is. I'm just going to tell you now. Start telling them how good Jalen Petty is. Start telling them now. File it away. But if those guys can start knocking those shots down, Nolan Groves and whoever you try to, then it's just you're extremely difficult to defend. Even for the Houstons of the world that are as good defensively as a team as there is in the sport, it's still a pick your poison type dynamic.
Honey, remember Jalen Petty? Book it. Get it on the fridge, Chris.
There you go.
Hey, there are a few other names we can circle back down the road to that Coach McCaslin was pointing out. I think he's using the word special, so these are not names I want to forget, but tip-off's still a little ways away, so we might as well just call it good here. I'm getting too gassed up.
Because I didn't even talk to you about Lawan Watts and your new lob threat and Luke Bomboye that is much better rim protector than Federico was defensively. So yeah, a lot to like. Regardless of the score that everybody saw between you and Oklahoma, you're going to be just fine. You're going to be just fine.
So. Number 10 in the land to begin things preseason. Yeah. AP Top 25. Chris, thanks for a little bonus time to revel in this. And looking forward to the next cause to discuss hoops, which will not be too far away from now. We'll be back to football focused on an upcoming episode as we get ready for the Sun Devils, however. So looking forward to seeing you for that one.
Can't wait, man. Looking forward to it as well. Basketball season will be here. Yeah, your first game is November the 4th. It gets to be a really stressful time of year for everybody when everything starts happening at the same time. But you got a lot of meaningful stuff going on around here that's about to be happening at the same time. And again, that rare air, breathe it, people. Breathe it. I mean, those double T's are out there flying around. Just inhale them because these are good times, man. Enjoy it. Wasn't too long ago when football was really struggling. Like, how can we fix this thing? Wasn't too long ago when you were 1-17 in Big 12 play with a basketball coach that was an interim coach. And what are we going to do? Now you're looking at Final Four banners up in your roster, your preseason top 10. I mean, appreciate it. Enjoy it. November will be here soon.
Two turned. Take 3. Top 10. Texas Tech. The double T, whichever way you want to spin it, all applicable this day and age. Enjoy it while we have it to enjoy. No doubt, always a worthwhile reminder. Chris, appreciate your time and appreciate everybody for being out there joining us on the fly to talk hoops for a moment. Get subscribed on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts so you never miss an episode. And, of course, thanks to the everydayers, sometimes twice-a-dayers, and the Matador Mob for always riding along. Hit our show notes and find a link to a free 14-day trial. That's your direct line to Chris and myself with one-on-one text sent straight to your phone. For Chris, I'm Casey. Thanks as always for the time. We'll see you for the next round on Locked On Texas Tech.